Welcome back to Library YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful handkerchief flare with peplum. You can see it's a very simple tutorial. It has a 2 inches elastic band. I'm going to take you through how to cut and sew this in this class. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so today we are going to be making an handkerchief flare skirt with straight peplum, and I'm going to be working with this Adire fabric. The fabric length is by 45, so I'm going to show you how you can make this skirt without having to join the hem of your fabric. If you are working with a fabric with 16 inches length, then you don't really need to join. But if you are working with this type of fabric, Ankara or Adire, that does not have a full length, you may have to join. So I'm going to teach you how you can bypass that. So for this, you are going to need the length of your skirt. For me, I want my legs to be 23 inches long, and then you're going to also need the radius. So if you are working with a zipper, you can make the waist of your waistline the radius, but because I'm working with elastic, I'm going to be making my hip my radius. So because you are going to be wearing it from down, it needs to go through your hip. So the hip I'm working with here is 46 inches. So that's what I'm going to be using to calculate my radius. So this is the circumference. So now to calculate your radius, it's going to be a full circle flare. So whatever measurement you are using as your waist, that's your circumference, you are going to divide that by 6.28. is a constant for full circle flare. In this case, we are using our hip measurement, which is 46. I'm going to divide that by 6.28, so it's going to give me around 7.3 thereabout. So I'll just approximate that to 7.5. So that is going to be the radius. So you can now come here and write your radius to be 7.5 and your length to be 23. So now I'm going to be using elastic like I mentioned, and the elastic that I'm working with is a 2 inches elastic. So I want to take that 2 inches out of my total length for the skirt. So if I minus the 2 inches elastic band, I'm going to have 21 inches. So I'm going to, once you deduct the 2 inches, you're going to have 21 inches. That is going to be the length of your skirt. So to know the measurement you need for your fabric, you can just add the 21 inches plus 7, and total is going to be 28.5. You can also approximate this to 29 for seam allowance. So this is what I'm going to use to measure my fabric. So what I'm going to do now is to bring my fabric. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my fabric. So let me use this side that does not have too much selvage. So I will mark the 29 inches. If you are using, let me just chip this in. If you are using a fabric that has an actual length of 60 inches, that's a long length. Remember, you need just 28.5. So what you will just do is to fold your fabric into two first, like this. So if you fold the fabric of 60 inches into two, it means you have 30 inches here, 30 inches here, which is more than enough. What you actually need is 28.5. So you will not need any joining. You just fold into two, and then you fold again into 4. So that way you'll be able to cut your front and back together. But in this case, if I fold this one into 2, what I'm going to have is going to be around 23 inches, which is not going to be enough for me. So folding this fabric into 2 like this, and if you measure it, you will see I only have 22, which is very far from the total 28.5 that I need. So what I'm going to do is to cut my front separately, and then I'm going to cut the back separately as well. So to do this, you just need to fold your fabric. So you take your fabric like this, then you're going to measure your length, which is 29 inches in this case. So you measure the 29 inches like this. Then after measuring your 29 inches, you go ahead and fold into 2. So we are cutting the front separately now and the back separately. And if you want to cut the front and back together, it's still going to be separate though. But if you want to cut them together, instead of folding your 29 inches once, you just fold it 2 times. Please don't be confused though. I just want to cut everything together at once so that I will not need to place front and back together again. 29 times 2 is 58 inches. So what I simply have here is my front and my back separately, 58 inches. So now I will now fold again. So if I fold again now, I'll have 29. I hope you understand that. So this way I will cut the front and back same time, but it's going to come out separately. It's still not going to be together. Okay, so I'm just trying to save time. So I'll confirm what I have here. What I have here is not up to 29, so I'm going to shift it again. Okay, so I think this is fine. I have about 28.75. This is fine. So this is what I'm going to be using. Okay, so because this part does not have the fabric design, I'm just going to take that part out. You can cut it out or you can just mark it. So let me just mark mine. I'm going to be taking this part out because it's plain. If yours is full like Ankara, then you can just work with it like that. So I'm taking this part out. In order not to be confused, I can just take my scissors now and then cut it out. Please note that I am cutting both front and back now. Don't be confused though, but it's still going to come out separate, just like I explained, so that we will not have to fold 2 times. So now I have this side correct, 29 inches. I'm just trying to measure and be sure. So okay, I have 28 and half. So what I'm going to do now, 28 and half here, I'm going to measure the 28 and half on this side as well. So I'm just going to turn it so that it's going to have a full view on the table. So now here as well, we'll mark the 28 and half. From here, I'll also place my ruler and then mark like this. It's an handkerchief flare, so instead of just marking and curving just like you do your normal flare, this one is going to come out in form of like a square. Okay, it's just going to come like you are cutting, like you're measuring a square. So I'm going to connect the 28 and half inches upwards up to this part. So here I'm going to mark 28 and half as well. Okay, so this is all that you need to cut your handkerchief flare. So again, I want to cut that part out so that what we'll have on the table is just what we need to sew our skirt. So I'm taking the part that I'm not going to be working with, I'm taking it out like this, and then you cut following the chalk line that you have. So you can see that we have a perfect square now. If you measure everything all around, what you will have is the same. So we have 28 and half inches here. If you come here and measure, you have 28 and half as well. If you come here and measure, you have the same 28 and half, just all around the four corners, the same thing. So the uneven length that we used to have in handkerchief flare is going to be from this diagonal one. If you measure it, you will see that it is going to be significantly longer. Can you see? We have 40 and half. So that is where you will see the unevenness that you will see on the hem of your handkerchief flare. It's from that diagonal area. So now that I have measured it, what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and mark out my radius. Remember, this is the total length, radius plus length. That's what we have here. So I'm going to be marking out my radius. The radius I'm working with for this is 7.5. So on this part, remember, we have the front and back together here. So you make sure that you are measuring from one of the folded edge. Can you see the part that is folded, two folded parts? So from there now, I'm going to mark my 7.5, which is my radius, and I'm going to mark that all around, 7.5 all around, 7.5 all around. So it's very simple. Just make, once you get your length, make sure that you have a perfect square all around, and then you take out your radius. It is that simple. You have the same measurement on all angles. Once you have that, you are going to measure your radius just like this, which is your hip if you are working with elastic, and your waist if you are working with zipper. So once you measure out your radius like this, you are going to go ahead and cut it. If you mark around your radius, you will see that you have more than 46 inches. Remember, it's folded into 4. 46 divided by 4 is 12. Remember, I added extra. Can you say I have 13.25? So I have more than enough. So this is all you need for your flare. So because we folded front and back together, I'm just going to open this hand. Okay, so that way I will have two separate pieces. Can you see? This is my front separately, and this is my back separately. So this is what it's going to look like. Okay, this is what your handkerchief is going to look like. So what I'm going to do now is to join it by the side. Remember, it's going to have pockets. Okay, it's going to have pockets by the side. So this place where I'm going to be joining them to form a whole skirt is going to be the side. It's going to be the side seam of my skirt, and I'm going to be inserting pockets there. So I'll do the same thing for this side as well, just like this. So you can go ahead and join it first before you cut your straight peplum. So the peplum is simple. It's just a straight cloth. So depending on how long you want it to be, looking at what we have here, I think around 10 inches is okay for me. So I'm going to mark. You can now add extra, maybe 1 inch as seam allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the leftover that I have. So the length is going to be 10 inches. For the width, you're going to, let's put it on fold so that it's going to be easier for us to measure. So for the width, remember, it's going to be on the waist like this, and then it's just going to drop down. So from here you can also measure how much you want it to drop down. Can you see? So I think I'm measuring from my waist. Please remember, I'm measuring from my waist, and then it's going to drop to the side. So it depends on how long you want it to be. So I think around 25 inches is fine for me. So I will just bring the leftover that I have here, and then I'm going to cut 11 inches by 25 inches. So I'll cut two of it for front and back. Okay, if you want to cut it together, so I'm just going to fold. Remember the 25 inches, I forgot to mention. The 25 inches, we measured it on fold, please. The 25 inches, we measured it when we folded our fabric, which means when you open it up, it's going to be 50 for each of the sides. Please remember that. So I'm going to measure 25 inches now, and then I'm going to fold it. So I'm just hoping my fabric is going to be enough. If it's not going to be enough, then whatever I have, let me check this length. Then that's what will determine my length. So what I have here is around 19 inches, including that part that I said I don't want to use, but it seems I don't have enough fabric, so I'll just work with it like that. Let me check what I have first before I cut. So if this is not up to 25, then we'll make, okay, I think we are fine. We have up to 25, we even have more than. So I'm folding it into two and then into four so that I can cut together just like I did for the skirt. I'm going to be cutting the peplum together as well, and we are cutting 11 inches, remember. So now I have folded it. I'm just making sure that everything rhymes together and they look good. Remember, we will still get our skirt band from it, so please calculate your fabric well. So once you arrange it, you are going to come here now and measure the length of the peplum. So here we are measuring 11 inches, so, or let me measure 12 so that I can fold the hem well. So I'm measuring 12 inches for the length of my peplum, and then I'm going to take my ruler and then connect it. You are still going to have pockets, so but for the pockets, if you don't have enough fabric, you can use another fabric to do your pocket. So I'm just making sure that I'm not going to waste this fabric too much. What I need is 25 inches. I have 28 here. I'm still going to cut it like that. I can get one pocket from this afterwards. Okay, so now we have cut it out, so I'll simply just measure 50 inches into two. So 50 for front and 50 for back. Okay, so the leftover that I have, I'm going to get one pocket from it. Okay, so now I've cut this. So if you place it on your waistline, you will see it's going to go over to, let me bring one of the skirts to demonstrate how it's going to be. So this is the skirt. This is the waist of the skirt. So if we get the midpoint of this, it's not going to be so long. It's going to go around the skirt like this and then drop down a little bit by this side. So if you want yours to be longer than this, you can make it longer, but I don't have so much fabric, so I'm just trying to manage what I have. So I've divided it into two. One is going to be for the front and one is going to be for the back. So to know where to place it, you just need to notch the center of your peplum like this, and then you notch the center of your skirt as well. So once you match the center together, you'll be able to place your peplum. So this is my notch, so I'm placing it like this, and then I'll place it like this. So the leftover that I have is what is just going to drop down. I hope you understand that. Okay, so I have cut my pocket. This is what it looks like, and I've gone ahead to attach it to the skirt. I have several tutorials on how you can do this, so please, if you don't know how to attach pockets, you can watch one of the tutorials. And I've closed up this side. So this is what we have now. I'm going to turn it to the right side, so you can go ahead and take it to your weaving machine at this point, and then you weave it off. So this is what the right side of the skirt look like. So for the peplum, it's just straight cut. I have hemmed all around it, so I'm going to notch the center like this, and also notch the center of my skirt. So I'll go ahead and sew it. So when I sew it, the leftover part that is remaining, the same allowance I used to sew, I'm just going to fold that part in as well. So what I want to do now is to put this skirt on fold and then place a notch at the center of the skirt. I have notched one, so I'm going to do the same thing to the other, to the front as well. So you're going to place it, the part you have hemmed is going to be facing downwards like this. And then I'm going to, from here, I will join it all the way to the side. I'm going to stop sewing at the side, and then the leftover that I have, I'm going to hem it. I'll do the same thing for the two sides. Remember that I don't have so much fabric, and you see it's just small. If you want yours to be longer and you have enough fabric, you can make it longer. So I'll do this for both front and back. So you can see I have got my head to sew the peplum to it. So this is what we have now, and then I just hemmed it. So if it does not have pocket, what you can do is just to place it like this, and close it here. But I want to be able to just dip my hand. So if you close it up, it means you have to raise this up before you can access your pocket. Whichever one you want to work with is fine actually. So once you are done with this, what you need to do now is to create your elastic band. I have done mine. I have several tutorials on how you can do this already on the channel. So if you don't know how to, let me know in the comment section. I'm going to link one for you. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and sew this to my band so that I can gather the waist. Remember, what we have here is our hip measurement. It's clearly bigger than the waist. So I'm going to be gathering it with my elastic band, and then I'm going to hem the skirt and bring it back to show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like on the mannequin. You can see how beautiful it looks and how simple it is to make this. It's very simple to make. Once you watch the tutorial, well, you're going to get it right. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.